If you don't know already, Liben is back with more primogems and new information. This time, Liben talks about Dormin Port. He says Dormin Port sits just north of Mondstadt, suggesting it's not far away. A port town built on cargo shipping and flower cultivation, but the most interesting part is when he mentions a mysterious sanatorium up in the hills near Dormin Port, and there's a saying that goes along with it. Anyone who visits the sanatorium will remain in those enchanted hills forever. Liben also says the sanatorium was torn down a few years ago, so whatever happened there, it's still part of the port's reputation. Today, let's go through everything we know about Dormin Port so far so we can make a mental image of where we might be heading soon. The very first mention of Dormin Port goes all the way back to version 1.0. It happens in the Mondstadt World quest, Time and Wind. In that quest, Henry Morton says he remembers you can charter a boat at Dormin Port, but it's way too far away, which at the time would make many speculate how far away Dormin Port was from Mondstadt City, but I think this was just letting us know that it wasn't going to be an important location for a long time. Though this very early mention means Dormin Port was part of Mondstadt's world building right from the beginning. We know Dormin Port is a major trade route for Mondstadt, especially during Weinlesefest. In the quest charity event, a great success, Eula explains that during the festival, there are more merchant caravans than usual, traveling between Dormin Port and Mondstadt City. And because of that, the Knights Reconnaissance Company, Eula's unit, has to patrol and escort the route for security reasons. So again, this doesn't make Dormin Port sound like a tiny dock village, it makes Dormin Port sound like a busy port town. More recently, during Jean's birthday, we received a letter from her from March 14, 2025. In that letter, we learn from Frederica Gunhilder, Jean's mother, that her and several knights were ordered to return to Dormin Port to assist in its defense, while the Grand Master continued towards Nodcry, where we recently met him. This signals a shift, as one part of this letter has already caught up to our current point in the story, because it places Dormin Port into the current timeline as a strategic location. Now here's a really interesting detail. Eula says, "My suspicions were raised, so I asked their captain to show a valid entry permit for the port." And she also said that Bido didn't have the permit on her, and told Eula to, quote, check with the port authorities herself. So Dormin Port isn't just a rogue pull-up and park location like Nodcry. It has permits and it has port authorities. That's the kind of details you usually only get for a location that's important. And in the same event, we also learned something simple but valuable. Dormin Port has taverns, because Beto said, "I felt bad, though, so I told her I'd treat her to a drink when we got back to the tavern." That confirms Dormin Port is a real stop, a long-standing and important trade route for Mondstadt. Now for the darker side, Eula's voiceover lines about Yenfei, Yenfei's encounter, and Yenfei assessment mention incidents involving dangerous cargo tied to Dormin Port, and Abyss-related activity connected to shipments. So when you combine that with everything else, patrols during Weinlesefest, permit checks, port authorities, and now a defense order, it paints a clear picture. Dormin Port feels like a busy port town with a lot going on. Trade and security are happening at the same time all the time. So just to recap, the only factions we currently know exist in Dormin Port are the Knights of Favonius and the Abyss Order. From all of this, we also gather that Dormin Port does business with Liyue Harbor as well, due to Yenfei's involvement. Thanks to Liben, we now have a clear picture of Dormin Port and that cargo shipping, flower cultivation are a big part of Dormin Port's identity. As for the sanatorium in the hills that's been recently torn down, Liben still says it was famous, so what do you think happened? Now I want your theory. Do you think the sanatorium is somehow connected to the Abyss Order? Why does Dormin Port need so much defense right now? Why do all who go to the sanatorium never return? If you enjoyed this breakdown video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more Genshin content. Let me know in the comments below what you think about all of this.